Hey everybody! Welcome back to the Cosmic Crusade podcast. I am your host Jay. I hope you're having a wonderful day. Hey, hi, how are you? What's up? I know it's been a minute. Okay, and listen, we're gonna be talking about the cruise. The cruise happened, we lived our best life, and we are going to be doing a thorough deep dive. Don't you worry. But, it's been a minute. It has been a moment in time. Now listen, I had a vicious cold, okay? I fell ill once again, and wow, this one was packing a punch, okay? I'm talking like I was trying to push through, I was trying to be so brave, and I was going to work, and everyone's like, you good? You okay? How are you doing? You look like a ghost. You're so pale. Like, literally, your face is flushed. Like, all your skin color is just gone. I'm like, oh, okay. This is awesome. This is awesome. And I didn't have any energy either. Like, literally, no energy to be found anywhere. I had, like, no motivation. I could not do anything. It was very, like, okay, I'm really just going to supervise everything today because I cannot be doing it. But I was trying to push through and I was trying to be brave, and I ended up going home and being on my deathbed for the next couple of days. And by that, I mean like pretty much week. And I did go see Kesha. I did. I pushed through. And so I had my illness still, but it was manageable. Like, I was on meds, and lo and behold, who's that knocking at my door? Back pain. Wow, she came back strong. Strong. Like, I have had back pain before, like in my lower back, and I had gone to the chiropractor, and I went through physical therapy, and I was getting massages, and like, I always do my yoga. You know, I am on top of it with my yoga. So like, I really am mindful of like my body and trying to maintain, and not only maintain, but like to keep up the practice of wellness and to try to ensure that it's functioning in the best way that it can, and that I'm doing things for my body that are good for my body. Not only that, but are helping to strengthen the muscles and like all that good jazz. So tell me why. Tell me why it comes back. It's awful. So like, amidst my death, you know, a cold, I'm sitting around on the couch, flip-flopping around, moving to the bed, flip-flopping around, you know, not doing as much physically. And then on top of that, you know, the sneezing, hacking, coughing, all of that is very, like, intense on your body, right? Like, when you are coughing, when you're sneezing, it's like a full body motion, right? So I'm pretty sure what was happening was, like, I'm sitting in some god-awful position that I should not have been sitting in when I was having that moment. And, you know, the core wasn't bracing for impact, you know? There was nothing to support the low back at the time, so I just, you know, kind of goofed it up a little bit. But thankfully there was, like, a chiropractor when we saw Kesha down in Cincinnati. So I got my back cracked because, like, literally that morning when we were getting ready to go, I'm like, I already have paid for these tickets. He has the hotel. Like, we're not... No, we're going. And it's Kesha. It is Kesha, one of my bucket list artists, where it's like, as soon as I heard that she was going on tour, the tickets were secured, okay? It was not a thought. Not a second thought. I said, this is happening. I have literally been listening to her since middle school, and we're going. So, you know, we did. But, like, waking up that morning into the back pain was really, it hit me. Oh, it hit me. I'm talking like I genuinely lost mobility. Like, I was old man style, supporting myself, holding myself up on the walls and like scooting along. I'm like, honey, sweetie, no. Too early in my life for such things to be occurring, okay? I said, that's insane. Something's wrong. You know, that's bad. And I'm certain that the hours sitting in the car driving down to Cincinnati was not helpful to the scenario. But don't worry, gummies were, which is funny because the chiropractor said that too. He said, you know, I don't think that you need to like go to the doctors or anything because they're just going to give you like pain meds, which is only going to like stop the sensation, right? You know, it's going to stop me from being aware of the pain, but it's not going to get to the root cause, you know? So he said, try some gummies. And I said, wow, crazy. I got some in my hand right now. Gobble, gobble, baby. And it real. He was so real for that because genuinely, I was doing Tylenol, like the fucking 500s, the extra strength, whatever it is. And then I was doing ibuprofen. And like, no, the gummies were the only thing that really helped with the pain at the time. So, shout out gummies, I guess. But yeah, it was a great show. It was absolutely a great show. Like seeing Kesha, it was amazing. We had pretty good seats too. Honestly, I think our seats for Kesha were better than our seats for Nikki. Like, we had pretty good seats. We were in a pavilion. It was kind of like, so like, she was originally coming to Blossom, which is, you know, closer, but that's when I was going on the cruise. Like, the dates conflicted, so that's why we went to Cincinnati. But it was a similar idea to Blossom, where it's like an outdoor venue, and then like you have the pavilion when you get closer to the stage, and that's where we were. Absolutely amazing. Like, it's everything that you would want out of a Kesha show. It was so good. Her backup dancers were so good. The stage, the lights, all of it, so good. You know, I was thoroughly pleased. Definitely, if she's going on tour again in any sort of near future time, I gotta go. I gotta go back. That's definitely an artist that I would love to see again, but also to experience when I'm in more of a normal state, not having my cold passing the baton on to the back pain of like, why? You know, just to be in a normal, healthy state and experience that. Oh, God. And she's also one of those people where I did want to stay for the entire show, but like, the body was not having it. The body was not having it. I said, okay, I gotta go back. We're done now. But we saw a lot, and it was beautiful, and I loved every minute of it. So,
anybody hungry? Breakfast and lunch. When I'm thirsty, I drink their blood. Carnivore animal, I have that kind of love. I hear what's up. You better run.
yeah, Kesha was wonderful. But the illness took me out for like, oh God. Dude, I think like just now, I'm starting to finally like fully be 100% again. Because like, it was the cold, yeah. But then it was like lingering cough. Because, you know, I wasn't letting myself cough at all. Because it hurt my back when I was coughing. So like my body is trying to expel the mucus, and like, I just had to push the timeline on that one, you know? So when I actually started going and seeing the chiropractor and like getting my back to where it was, and where it should be, I was actually able to like start coughing and like actually releasing the mucus and being okay to do so, you know, not being in pain to where it prevented me from doing that. So it's like the illness aspect of it was like pretty much over, like all of the symptoms aside from the cough and like getting rid of the phlegm and mucus. Those other symptoms were pretty much done with. It was just dealing with that. And that, I think just this week I started getting over that. So that's kind of what's been going on. That's kind of where I've been. And that's why I didn't get to posting as many videos recently as I may have liked to. I definitely would have liked to have thrown out another episode or two within the time frame, but you know, when you're sick, you gotta do what you gotta do, and you gotta take care of yourself, boo. Yes! Okay, happy to be feeling better, happy to be back. You know we gotta dive into the cruise, because it's been a minute since I've taken like a vacation. I think honestly probably the last vacation was when I was going to a bunch of concerts in Michigan with my bestie, and we got an Airbnb out there. Wonderful. But yeah, I haven't had like a real good vacation moment in a minute. Usually when I'm taking like a vacation, it's just me taking time off from work. It's just me having a staycation. It's just me literally saying, please, enough. The stress, enough. Work, enough. Like, let me breathe. Let me just be in my own space. Let me deep clean my house and then enjoy my house for like 5 days. Please. That's usually what the vacation scenario is, you know? It's just a brain break more than anything. And I mean, the same is true for Damien as well. Like, he has not had a vacation in a minute. So, like, we are very excited to do this, and I know I have previously spoken on it, and we got it so long ago that it was like I had instant excitement, right? When we were booking, when we were securing, when we were like working out all the little bits and pieces and details. Oh my gosh, the excitement was like 10 out of 10. It was through the roof. It was all I could think about, you know, we're going on vacation. We're going to be taking a cruise. And this, I will say, was my first ever cruise as well as Damien's. So there's a lot of excitement involved. Yeah, you know, it's like, this is something we've never done before. It's been a minute since we've had like a vacation moment, and we're embarking on this adventure together. Awesome, awesome, awesome. We went to friggin' Bermuda. I mean, that in and of itself, hello, I'm happy. And we decided to go with like a 5-night because we're like, I don't want to hate it and be trapped. But also, I don't feel like 3 nights is enough. Definitely, I think in the future, a 7-night would be like, you know, 10 out of 10. But anyways, so I mean, I did find myself having like a little bit in time, like, I mean, a couple of months, but like in the grand scheme, a little bit of time where I had like just forgotten about it. You know, my brain was just being occupied with other things, and I wasn't necessarily thinking about the cruise unless it was a bad day. Then I had my mantras, you know, I'm going on a cruise, I'm going on a cruise, I'm going on a cruise. You know, the things that you tell yourself to keep going because like, ugh. But yeah, I had a blimp in time there where I forgot about it, and then like it started getting close again. And we started to do like our early check-ins through the app and everything, and like the excitement was really picking up again. And for good reason too, because we had just a delightful experience. It was leaving from Baltimore, Maryland, so we were able to drive. And being able to drive and not having to deal with like getting a plane and then getting Ubers and all that jazz, mwah, mwah, mwah. I mean, sure, theoretically you could drive to like any of the other ports, but do you want to? Do you want to? Because like the 6-hour drive one way was good enough, you know? It was a long haul, I will say. But, you know, worth it to save the little bit of money. We can appreciate that. And I will say it was pretty good getting there. We didn't have any issues or anything. The drive was absolutely fine. And then once we got to the port, it was like pretty easy to kind of figure out where you had to go and what you needed to do, especially from a first timer's perspective. It was just like, you get in the line, you follow everyone else. Not bad, not bad. I'll take it, you know? And then they have the people there to handle your luggage and all that good jazz, and we had our little carry-on of things that we were gonna be wanting, and that was it. And then we got aboard the ship, and wow, it was amazing. It was beautiful. It was absolutely everything that you ever could have wanted. And we did in fact have the deluxe beverage package, the alcohol package. And yeah, that was really, really good. I mean, literally, we got onto the ship. We did like our safety briefing and all that jazz. And then we went and we got ourselves a drink. We were starting this vacation, okay? And it was funny too, because you have people that are there to do like the excursions, and then there's a booth for like the dining experiences, and you know, they're all trying to upsell you on all that stuff. And it's like, we've done our research. No, thank you. We've already booked it in advance. We are good. No, thanks. You're doing your job and you're doing great, but I got other things to be doing right now, you know? And the ship that we were sailing on in particular was Vision of the Seas through Royal Caribbean. And that was like their smallest ship. I think one of the workers said that it was like 3,000 people was max capacity. It had like 11 different decks. So definitely not the biggest, but also that felt big, you know? For us first timers going onto the cruise ship, it's like, oh my God, kid in a candy store. We're just, oh, we're in amazement. We're saying, wow, look at that, look at that, look at that. And I will say, for a good chunk of the time, I was really committed to doing the stairs. I'm like, the elevator's gonna be crazy. We're not doing that. No, thank you. We are going to be going up and down the stairs. Yeah, that didn't last. That didn't last, but definitely getting on there, and then first day going to the buffet for the lunch. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Everything was packed and everything was crazy. Absolutely crazy. But, you know, all in all, I will say that we did have pretty good food. I did enjoy going to the buffet, and then we had like our dinners in the main dining room area, which was the Aquarius dining room. I will say it was the Aquarius dining room, and you know I took pictures, and you know I have pictures of the signage because beauty. And also, like, you're telling me the first cruise that I've ever booked, we're just embarking on a new experience, and it's Aquarius energy. I don't know. I don't know. Quinky Dink, I think not. It was aligned, it was divine, and it was a good time. You know, we had a wonderful time. And honestly, all of the staff were really great. They were amazing. There's nothing negative that I could have said about it. How could you not? Like, literally, you're on vacation, you're being pampered. Like, you don't have to clean up after yourself. You don't have to do the dishes. You don't have to do the cooking. You don't have to think about getting the food or buying the groceries. Ah, heaven. We were in heaven. But yeah, first day was kind of crazy, kind of busy. Second day was a lot better. Everything was mellowed out, and it was really cool to be on the ocean, I will say. We definitely went around the entirety of the ship on like the top level so you could see like everything. And also we were just trying to get like a lay of the land, a feel for everything, you know. And like, wow, it's absolutely mind-blowing to be going all the directions and see no land and see only water. It's like we truly are in the middle of the ocean. And then like when it's the nighttime and you're looking around and you're seeing nothing, because it was like a new moon era that we were going into. Wow, that was crazy. It's like there's really nothing out there anywhere. It was cool. It was cool. And I was very pleased to learn that I, in fact, do not get seasick. I am not one of the people who get seasick. I didn't really think that I would, you know, because I've ridden roller coasters before and like had long drives and I don't really get motion sickness. So you never know though. I've been in the ocean before, but that was just me swimming on my own from a beach. Didn't know. You never know. It could have been different, but it wasn't, thankfully. I was still being precautious, but yeah, didn't have to deal with any of the motion sickness. And on one of the later days that we were there, I think it was like day 5 or something, the ocean was literally like flat. It was literally so calm. Absolutely beautiful to see it like that. Like, that felt pretty amazing because I think literally it was just the ship going on by that was like making the waves. It was weird. Cool to see though. I love to see it. Yeah, and then they had like a Broadway show, but it wasn't like your typical Broadway show. It was just kind of like a mega mix of all different Broadway shows. Like, it didn't have any sort of particular storyline that I followed, but that was still pretty cool. And I mean, there were definitely some amazing and talented performers, and like the theater itself was beautiful, you know. It was very spacious. It was able to fit everybody. Like, there were still people that were coming in like after the show had started and they were able to find a seat for themselves, and everything was cool. And also, you had the people that were like walking around in there taking your drink orders as well. Like, hello? 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 Here's my card. Yes, please, thank you. Another pina colada. That was also another aspect of this trip that was so exciting for me. Like, obviously we're getting to Bermuda, yeah, but the ship, loved it. That was the vacation, right? Like, I still am going to Bermuda. My brain was like forgetting that, you know, I was just so enamored by the vacation that we were on a ship. That was half the fun. I mean, geez, it was awesome. But that was another aspect of this trip that I was very excited for, was to be able to just kind of branch out and try a few different drinks that I haven't had before and just see if I like it, see if I don't. And like, if I don't, then whatever, no worries, it's already paid for. Because like, I know different cruise lines will handle their package differently, but on Royal, it's like, if it's $14 or under, that's included. That's in your drink package. And then they make pretty much everything 14 or under, you know, unless you're getting something crazy. But like, yeah, it was great. I will say that I found out that I don't like Coronas. Coronas are not good. The best part about a Corona is the lime that they gave me. Yeah, that was the best part. That was the highlight. After I had that, I said, no, thank you. Give me my Blue Moon. Give me my tried and true, baby, because, like, I actually like Blue Moons and they're fine. Like, But that was later on in the cruise when I was getting tired of all the fruity drinks, you know. Pina coladas, Mai Tais, all day long. Yes, please. And, you know, you need that little tropical fruity energy to really solidify and make you feel like you're on vacation, okay? Nothing like that and some salt water and some sun. We're in heaven. And it was really good because, like, they gave you little itineraries in your rooms, and it kind of broke down what was going on for that day and the next day and whatever, where you could find the events. And they always had something going on, like, even late into the night, they still had events happening. And in, like, the main area, the Centrum, there's typically live music happening or, like, game shows or things like that. So there was plenty to do, plenty to see, plenty to experience. There was a casino. Yeah, I went in there. Yeah, I lost $30. You know, I wasn't going into it with anything crazy. I said, you know, I got a little bit of spare cash on me right now. Let's just do it. Just for shits and giggles, you know? Why not? Let's experience it. It's a part of the experience. Yeah, so anyways, but one of the experiences that we had that was later in the night, I think it was like 10 or 11, it was like a silent disco. That was really cool. It wasn't very silent because everybody was singing along, but like the idea behind it was you got these headphones and then you were able to tune into like different channels. And the two different channels that you were able to choose from were just playing different songs. But like you had this room full of people, we were all partying, we were all dancing it up, we all had our headphones on, and it was really cool. I had a lot of fun with it. I love a little silent disco moment. I would do it again, absolutely. You know, it's at the end of the day, you've been drinking all day, you're feeling good, and you get out there and you dance. What's not to love? What's not to love? It was a great time. 10 out of 10 would do again. And then they were doing a bunch of game show type things too. That was very entertaining. But then on the third day, we finally did arrive to Bermuda. And like, wow. Getting to their water and like seeing the difference. Oh, wow. Wow. So beautiful. When I say my favorite color is turquoise, that's what I mean. I mean Bermuda water turquoise. That's my favorite color. Like, it's just, oh, wow. And clear, too. You know, everybody says that, but it's so clear you can, like, see into it, you know? And it was just beautiful. And the island was really cool. Sadly, we did not have very much time. I think we actually had less than 24 hours that we were on the island of Bermuda. So we didn't get to explore too much, but we did do what we could do, and we had excursions booked. Oh my God. Very exciting. Very fun. The first one was a shipwreck snorkeling experience. I have never been snorkeling before, and when booking online, it warned that, like, this was very physically demanding. I don't feel like it was very physically demanding. I was a little nervous going into it because they're like, this is extreme intensity. And I'm like, oh, geez, okay. I'm going to work out a little extra hard for the vacation. Got it. No, it was fine. Because you have like the life vest. You have the little floaty to keep you going. And then you have your goggles and your little snorkel beast. It was like the ocean was awake that day. She was alive and she was floating around. So sometimes you had a little wave and got you a little water in there. I don't like the taste of salt water, so that's unfortunate. But what was very cool was seeing all of the fish. Like, you got to see all of the different types of fish that were in the ocean, and like some of them were real brave and getting real close, I will say. And then of course you got to see the coral, and we saw remnants of the shipwreck kind of here and there. It was a little difficult to find, I will say. It was a little difficult to see. I mean, it's old, you know, it's real old. A lot of this stuff has been washed up, but you know, the captain was very informative and was giving us all of the lore, and he gave us a rum swizzle, a free little beverage that is like their signature drink in Bermuda. And it was absolutely a wonderful time. I did, in fact, get like a little casing for my phone so I could like take videos underwater. So let me show you what I was doing and what I saw. So yeah, the snorkeling experience was wonderful. I learned that I love to snorkel. Very fun, very entertaining. I will say though, it was a little scandalous, a little bit of a scam, because the captain had like a loaf of bread and threw it out to feed the fish, right where we get back on the boat by the ladder. And I said, oh, because I'm underwater and I'm like going back towards the boat, and I just see a school of fish out of the nowhere. And I'm like, oh my god, okay, wow, what's going on? Like, hello, did I miss something? And then once I got back on the boat, I saw him do it, you know, I watched it happen in real time, which is crazy to see. But, you know, even from, like, the boat, I was able to see all of the fish because, again, the water, very clear, very, very clear. So it was cool, it was a great experience. I would definitely do something like that again. I definitely want to go back to Bermuda and do something different because they had something about, like, a crystal alcove exploration, and I need to get in the crystal cave. I just need to do it. So, future Dusty will be exploring, I'm sure. But, like, the timing for that day specifically was very, we were a little scared. We were a little nervous because it was like we had to rush back to the boat to make our dinner reservation at the main dining room, and then we had to rush back out for another excursion, and we didn't want to be late for any of these things. Thankfully though, timing worked out. I will say, honestly, when we were getting served dinner in the main dining room, not just this day, just across the board, it was fast. The service was amazing. They were very attentive, and they were talking to you too. They'll yap you up. But like, wow, it's like, I'm finishing the bread, here's the appetizer. I'm finishing the appetizer, here is the entree. Finishing the entree, here is the dessert. I'm like, oh my god, guys. I just ate so much food in the span of a singular hour. Oh my gosh, I just ate so much food in the span of like 45 minutes. Like, they're on it, they're prompt. Which is a great thing, you know, if we were hungry. But like, we're so used to eating dinner so late that like, actually having dinner at a normal-ish time was like, oh god, a shock to the body, I think. You know, it's like, I'm not ready for that. My brain's not wired for that. My stomach is not ready for that. Oh, geez. yeah, so dinner was good. Dinner was timely, which allowed us to make it to our second excursion of the day. We did a glass bottom cruise, and it took us to a shipwreck, and we actually got to like see the I don't know what it's called, but like the tip of the boat sticking out in the ocean, and it was very cool, very informative. And they
Behind that yellow pill, behind that yellow pill where you see all the pills, believe it or not, that was all teakwood as well. But it's patches like, you know, it's been next to iron so long, it's taken on form of iron as well. But it's
So it's like underneath of the boat, that's where the glass is, and then they turn on lights, which attracted a bunch of different fish. And, you know, they were very informative and well in explaining like what we can be expecting to kind of see in terms of like the sea life, you know, what different type of fish we're going to be seeing and the different coral and all that good jazz.
When we're drunk, and we make it real easy for our hungover selves to remember, so we call it as we see it, and then we have the word coral at the end. Down there, we have a mustard yellow coral. It's got grooves running all over the surface, making it look quite like a brain. That would be our brain coral. Next up, we have a great pale yellow coral that looks weird and knobbly, almost like the head of a cauliflower. That would be our cauliflower coral. You guys are picking up where I'm going with this, right? Finally, we have a bright pale orange coral that looks really spiky, often found in large patches with white tips. It kinda sorta looks like a fire. Nudge, nudge, wink, wink. Anyone want to take a guess as to what that one's called?
Fire coral.
Fire coral. You guys could take my job if I didn't like it so much. Now let's name our soft coral, shall we? Those long brown.
And it's cool too because Bermuda is very much so like reliant on the coral reef. It like protects them from, you know, the ocean, hurricanes, tsunamis, like whatever. And so they're kind of like give that energy back in the sense of like they're very protective of the coral. I think they said like it's a $25,000 fine if you touch the coral. And it's like if you touch it, it's gonna like affect you and you're gonna have to go to the hospital too. But like the oils that we naturally excrete, the coral does not like that. It kills the coral. So you touch it and then like, yeah, sure, it's gonna look fine. But then like in a few years, you're gonna see that handprint and then eventually you'll see the coral die. That shipwreck in particular had cast iron on it. And I guess cast iron helps coral grow like 20 times faster or something. So that's really cool. And I think they were saying that they use that to help preserve the reef and everything. It's just cool. It's just cool. They have that symbiotic relationship where they're helping each other out, you know? Very awesome. Very good stuff. And then, of course, we got another rum swizzle. You know, deliciousness. It's awesome that every excursion that we did, we got a little treat, you know? They're absolutely wonderful out there in Bermuda. Wonderful hosts. And then that takes us to day 4. We were leaving Bermuda that day. But we did want to try to get out and see what we could see and do what we can do, like, on foot, you know? I wasn't really trying to mess around with, like, a tour bus, given that we were going to be leaving in a few hours, and I am not trying to be one of those people that are left behind or holding up the boat. No, not me. Anxiety is too much. Thank you. But, yeah, so we were walking around, and we were exploring, and we were able to see, like, a little bit. Not very much, I will say. It wasn't very traversable by foot. You did need to get like a moped, a car, or a tour bus to take you somewhere. But, you know, we saw what we could see. They had like free range chickens, just existing wild chickens that were in Bermuda. Cool. Different. And then we were walking back because we wanted to go to the mall, but we knew we wanted to go to the mall, so we were just still exploring a little bit. So we're walking back to the mall, and we're sitting there and we're kind of laughing to ourselves because we see this car pull in like onto the sidewalk. We're like, what's going on? And then we look like 3 feet over and we see the sign that says, no motorized vehicles on sidewalk. It's like, okay, hello? What? You're just an exception, I guess. Okay, cool. And then we're getting closer to the mall and this lady walks out and she's like, oh, hello boys, do you like art? I'm like, oh my god, what's happening? And like, no, we don't like art. Which, like, obviously that's a lie. But, like, you know, I had heightened awareness and my guard was up. You know, we're tourists in a tourist area. I'm not trying to be scammed. Like, no, thank you, ma'am. I am not buying whatever you're selling. We're good. And then she goes, she was real life British, BTW. I'm going to speak to you boys quite plainly. I need some help. I have these boxes here. I have a shop in there. I just need to unload it real quickly. Would you mind helping me? And I said, huh, okay, wow. Getting a side quest in Bermuda? Let's do it! You know, I'm sure I've got some karmic points that I need to clear out anyway. So we did. We helped this lady unload her shit and get it into her shop and all set up and everything. And then she gave us calendars. She's an artist, like, legit. So it's pieces of her art all throughout the calendars. And I was like, okay, cool. You know, now we got a story. This is random time. I thought somebody was just doing illegal shit in Bermuda, but JK, it's an artist, and now we have free calendars. So, that was cool. And then I got a hat. You know. Hats are my things these days. I don't know. It's easier than doing my hair, and I enjoy it, but, like, I got a little turquoise Bermuda hat, so I'm happy with that. And that was kind of like the last eventful thing that we did in Bermuda. You know, we just got back onto the ship and got ourselves some lunch, and we're just chilling out for the rest of the day, sitting by the pool, sipping on our little drinks, and I was reading my book, and that was really awesome. We hit up the solarium a lot, and the solarium is like wonderful because it's 18 plus, and it's kind of this area that has like beautiful, beautiful, beautiful seats to allow you to see the ocean, and they like open up the windows and all that good jazz. And then like the sun is still coming in. Like it's indoors, but like the sun is still coming in. So, you know, you're really just able to enjoy it all. The solarium was definitely one of my favorite places to be on the ship, I will say. The solarium was also directly connected to like the main pool area, which was very cool. It was awesome. They had like a big screen right there too, you know, so they were like playing movies, and like if they were doing like a game show bit or something, that's where it would be, you know, projected onto, and it was very cool. So like in the nighttime, they would always be playing different kinds of movies on there, so you could just sit and watch. We didn't discover this until like a couple of days in, like probably around this time, but the 11th floor was like, I think it was called the Viking Lounge. Oh my gosh, so good. So good. Like, if you got there a little bit earlier in the night, because it was open like late night, this was the nightclub. You know, this is where you went to dance and party and do your thing. But if you went a little bit earlier, it was so comfy, cozy, just very tame, very calm, very, not many people were there at the time, you know? So it was just very chill. And they had like, you know, big couches, very cushioned, very comfy, very cozy, very secluded, very awesome. I loved it. And it had like seats that were by windows, so you can get like a full view of the ship and everything. Like it was looking directly down onto like that main pool area. So it was cool. It was awesome. It was very crowded at the main pool though, like pretty much all of the time, which is why I will say that the solarium was probably a better choice for us. It was, you know, still plenty of people going on in there, but nowhere near like the main area. It was like manageable, and they did have like 2 hot tubs in there too, so you best believe we got a little jacuzzi on. We got a little hot tub moment. But I will say, they have rules posted, but nobody follows them, you know? Like, don't fill up your own water bottle. Only sit in the hot tub for like 15 minutes. Don't bring your drinks into the pools. Nobody is listening to that, and nobody is doing that. So, neither were we. Ha ha! We were just enjoying ourselves. We're on vacation, sorry. Don't know what to tell you. And I will say that this whole experience really has felt like a true and genuine vacation. It was wonderful. It was beautiful. And I think it was perfect for us to dip our toes into cruising because, like I said, first time for both of us. So I definitely foresee more cruises in the future. Maybe not immediately because, like, wow, sometimes you're really going to be spending money. And we want to do longer ones, so, you know, we're probably going to be trying to save up for that. But it was absolutely beautiful, and it was just so easy, and you were just taken care of, you know, you really were. You didn't have to worry or think about much of anything. It's just, what am I drinking? Where am I going? Where am I going to eat? What am I having? You know, very small decisions. It was a wonderful time. And even when it was just sea days, you know, just traveling to or coming from Bermuda, it was fun, you know. There's plenty to do, plenty to see, plenty to drink, plenty to eat. It was a good time. Very, very good time. So, 10 out of 10 vacation, would do again. I fear I may have forgotten some things, and, you know, I'm going to enjoy editing this, I'm sure. So, if there's anything I forgot, if there's any pictures or videos or things that I find last minute, we're going to pop it in right here real quick. But with that being said, thank you all so much for listening into my life updates and all of the fun events that I have been going to and going through. And yeah, it's just been wonderful. So I hope this video finds you well. I hope you are well. And with that being said, until next time, peace and love.